Good evening. I'll call the Board of Education meeting to order. Welcome to the school board of the North Rose-Wolcott Central School District. We will begin today's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first order of business is to approve tonight's agenda. A motion, please. John and Linda. Any discussion? All in favor of approving tonight's agenda? Motion is carried. Tonight we have some presentation, a presentation. Mr. Bowen, I'll let you do the introduction.
Sure, thank you, Mrs. Collier. So Mr. Blankenberg is going to come on up, and he's got members of the North Rose-Wolcott Athletic Boosters or the Booster Club as a whole that are going to present their annual report to you. And I think that, you know, he's going to kick it off and highlight a few things that they're going to focus on this evening for us. And I believe Mr. Petrosino might leave the keys to that Chevelle handy for me to take it where it's been.
No chance. No chance. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving us the opportunity tonight to talk about the Booster Club and all the great things that they've done. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Aaron Petrosino, who is actually the treasurer of the organization, going to take you through a little report from this year.
All right. Thank you for having us. I brought a few of my colleagues for support over there, including the president, vice president, and a couple of the other committee members. So I'm ready.
This is Matt. All right, we'll get it from here. All right, I'll stand
All
close to you. Ooh, you
Guys
guys
are terrible here.
you got to talk into the mic.
So the first thing I want to talk to you about is to thank you. We had our first full year of operation in the new concession stand out there, which is such a blessing. It allows us to really serve more events and to do a better job in serving those events. And it's a great facility. I think the only thing we're still waiting on is maybe some drop cords for that central thing, and I'm hoping that will happen this year. Some updates on that we're really proud of is in the last year, we have obtained our 501c3 charitable organization. The Booster Club has been in effect since it was incorporated in '79. So this is a big step for us to make this leap. It gives us a lot of ability to accept tax deductible donations. It also allowed us to apply for New York State sales tax exemption, which helps us in the purchase of some of the things that we do for jackets or awards or uniforms or whatever. So, and it gives us the opportunity to share that with some of our partners, which we're going to talk about in a couple of minutes. The current membership for the Booster Club is 33. If you check the Facebook, the Booster Club does have a Facebook page. There is 156 followers of the Facebook page now, as of a couple of days ago. It might be more now, I'm not sure, but and we're continuing to explore better ways to communicate. In this day and age, communication is such a challenge for us. You've got Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Parent Square and email and Twitter, text messaging. Everybody does it some ways different. We're trying to figure out how to do a better job with that. I can tell you the liaisons, Samantha, Megan, and Yvonne do an incredible job of getting all the groups together, making sure we know what's going on between us. And I know their hours got cut a couple of years ago. I just would say it again, their time is invaluable. It's amazing what they do to coordinate with the people in the district, keep us all aware. So, and I can also tell you, they all are working more hours than they're getting paid for. So, because they are dedicated. The volunteers provided refreshments at a wide variety of stuff this year. We did track, we did wrestling, volleyball, cross country, basketball, soccer, of course. And all of that allowed us to increase some of our donations. We even went to the community eclipse celebration, and provided the food and stuff for the eclipse celebration in Marshall Park this year. So here's a look at some of the things that we do. We increased the dollars for scholarships. We do 2 of them, $2,000 a piece, so there's $4,000. Project graduation gets $500. The student council gets $300, which is for engraving the academic plaques at the end of the year. Both high school musicals got $500 this year. High school and middle school musicals, excuse me. 8th grade celebration, which used to be the 8th grade honors trip. I think it was during Lake one year and one year they were in house, but whatever they decide to do for that celebration, there's $500 for them. We donated $500 to get the Jet Soccer Club up and running as they became under our umbrella this year. We'll talk on that in a minute. We always buy, my favorite thing, jackets for sectional winners. I love doing that. $550 went for that. Some books for the elementary students. Cougar Cupboard, we did 1,500. They're now one of our partners to get them off and running some more. And the youth soccer program equipment, $300 to get some new size soccer balls for the younger kids. We also support both book fairs at the middle school and both book fairs at North Rose Elementary School. And it generated this year $3,242 in scholastic dollars for the school library to purchase books, supplies, things to help the kids in the library. We also donated 182 books to students in need. And I probably have told you this before, but I'm going to tell you again. Several years ago, 2 young ladies, the Dennis girls, saw the need for kids that couldn't afford a book. And they started a GoFundMe. They raised $500. And they shamed us into making sure we don't let that ever happen again. So this year we got $400 from the North Rose Lions Club, which helped offset some of that. But 182 kids got books that wouldn't normally have gotten books to go home with over the course of the year. This year we had a Constitution Committee. It's been some time since we updated the Constitution, and it needed some modernization, I'll say. So there's a committee that's worked very hard, several meetings to try to get that reviewed a little bit. They have a draft ready, and if we ratify it with 2/3 of our membership, it will be approved, and then it'll be presented to the school board for approval also. In May, the Booster Club will help support the North Rose Lions Club at the North Rose Elementary with a vision screening program. The program has a camera. This is the layman's term. Has a camera that the student looks into, and it detects irregularities in the eye that just an eye chart doesn't do. So it goes above and beyond what normal vision is. If there's something detected, it will go home on the, we have to have a permission slip from the parents to do the screening. It'll get sent out. If the parents approve it, their child will be screened. And if there's something detected, a recommendation will go home to the student to say you really should seek an eye care professional to take a look at the eye. I can tell you I think it was Bloomfield, several years ago, it actually detected something in an eye of a student, and it turned out to be a cancerous tumor behind the eye. Probably saved the kid's eyesight for sure, perhaps even a life. So it's a great program, and the Booster Club's going to coordinate with them. So something else has happened this year. We have had 2 groups that have joined us in the past, the Cougar Pride Parent Group and the North Rose-Wolcott Rec Sports. This year, we also took on the Cougar Cupboard to come under our umbrella as a committee. And most recently, Jet Soccer Program is now part of the Booster Club. It's a little complicated to explain, but each one has their own board of directors. Each one has their own treasury. Each one reports to us so that we can report under the 501c3, because we're going to be liable for a tax report in June. But every club runs independently, but you'd be surprised. There's board members on each one that kind of, they're on 2 or 3 of the organizations. So it's a great way to network. It allows us to take advantage of that 501c3 across a broader scope, and the same with the tax exemption. So we are really proud to have all 4 of them as part of our group. So really it's 5 clubs all working together Yeah, this is stuff that came from the Cougar Pride Parent Group. This is just some of the things they do to make the community better and more aware of what's going on in the school, I think. It's parent meetings, they invite somebody from administration, I understand, to each meeting, somebody different. I think you've been there. And I think, who's the woman in the cafeteria, Rita?
Yeah.
I think she's done a presentation there. And then they have parents, and it's just a way to coordinate and get information out to the community. They do things like the snowman soup, hot cocoa for the staff. They invite they do things for the bus drivers. They really touch on all of it. And then they have events like the Easter egg hunt, which just took place in the gym with a whole bunch of little kids. The trunk or treat is part of the Cougar Pride Parent Group. So they do a tremendous job of getting the volunteers out and into these organizations. All of our organizations are supported through them. So. You doing that one? Or?
Yes, yeah. So big thanks to Aaron and Bruce McIntyre, a great group of people. That 33, I think when I started, it wasn't 33. So
No,
they've
12 probably.
They've done a great job. I mean,
Yeah.
they've doubled the size of the booster club.
And as long as I'm up here for just a minute, I want to thank Mark and Mike Lockwood. They do a tremendous job. And when we need something, they're our go-to people. So, and thank you to the board.
And he is one of the newest members of the 2025 North Rose-Wolcott Athletic Hall of Fame. The Booster Club has done a great job supporting what I'm going to talk about next is the rec. We really haven't had a rec program. We've got 2 volunteers that have done a ton of work the last 2 years getting a rec program going. So I'm going to share with you a couple numbers that they provided. So in the fall, they had 157 of our students playing soccer outside at Marshall Park, and thank Marshall Park for allowing us to be there. But like our varsity soccer teams went down to help, our varsity soccer coaches went down to help. It's great. I mean, I think last year it was around 100, so they're up in that amount of about 50 more students this year. Basketball program this winter, 110 first through 6th graders. We had some organizations come out, would do some programming for us. They got some money from Elks to help offset some costs, but they scrimmaged, they played at halftime of a bunch of basketball games. So it was really, really great for our younger students to play at the halftime of the varsity games, and for those fans to cheer those students on. They did indoor soccer. Again, another 111 students playing soccer, and in the late winter, early spring, and they've really done a lot of great things, but they're starting to work more with Jets. Jets is part of, we already kind of talked about that. Jets is kind of under the umbrella of the Booster Club and taking over a lot of those rec responsibilities. So it's a branch of it, and future soccer programs will run through the Jets under the rec. And I guess don't worry about that. But, and I wanted to say, Vivian Bishop, you heard about her last couple meetings. So she was the Democrat and Chronicle All Greater Rochester top skier for the Rochester area. So she was in the newspaper a couple weeks ago. It hasn't come out in print yet, the digital version is, but she'll as soon as that's out, we'll make sure you see that. So congratulations to Vivian. On behalf of the Booster Club, any questions that we can answer for you?
I've got to say, throughout my period of time being here, both in the school system and the board, I've got to appreciate well what they've done. The times weren't always rosy and wonderful. There were some bad times where the Booster Club stepped up and kept our kids active in the athletic area. So, as a parent, I appreciate it.
I guess the thing I would say, just to wrap up, we think of them as the Sports Booster Club, but they support everything. So
Awesome.
they're great.
That's awesome. Yeah.
We need to get Vivian's jacket back. We gotta have some more stuff on her.
Yeah.
Yes, we appreciate so much, everything that the Booster Club does in all areas. It's wonderful that you've expanded beyond just doing sports, and that in itself was big. So that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tina, has anyone requested public access tonight?
No.
No. All right, we'll move on. We come to number 4 on your agenda. Tonight, we need to elect members to the BOCES board. And we also have to approve their budget. This is something that is done on this particular night all through BOCES, which is why our meeting was moved from a Thursday to a Wednesday in order for us to be compliant. There are 3 seats open on the BOCES board. There are 6 people who are interested. Would someone like to make a motion for one of the, for the first seat? John?
I'd like to nominate Philip Rose,
Philip Rose,
the Sodas.
all right.
I'll second that.
Tina, second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of Philip Rose? Motion is carried. Is there another nomination? Travis?
I make a motion that we cast a vote for 1 seat for Heather Bachman.
Heather Bachman.
Second.
Is there a second? Tina? Any discussion? All in favor of nominating Heather Bachman? Motion is carried. Is there a nomination for the 3rd seat? Linda?
I put forward David Landon.
Would you say that again? Use your speaker,
David
please.
Landon from Macedon.
David Landon. Is there a second? John? Any discussion? All in favor of David Landon for the 3rd seat? Motion is carried. Now we've moved on to the BOCES board, administrative board budget. Not board, just administrative budget. Is there a motion, please, to approve the administrative budget for the 25-26 year? Tina, is there a second? John? Is there any discussion? Then all in favor of approving the administrative budget for the BOCES 25-26 year? Motion is carried. We come now to the consent agenda, and before we move on that budget, we are going to take a short break to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the employment history of specific employees and a legal matter. Is there a motion, please, to go into executive session? Linda, and the second, Travis. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. We will leave you for a little bit. We won't be long. And then we'll be right back, and we'll continue. right, we are back in session. A motion, please, to approve the consent agenda. John and Linda. Consent goes through page 4. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the consent agenda? Motion is carried. On the moving to board member requests, comments, and discussion.
So now you have to do number 6, policies.
Pardon me? Oh. Oh, I drew my line in the wrong place. Policies, yes, thank you. Motion please to approve the policies that have been deleted and revised. Tina and Travis, any discussion? This is our second read with these. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the policy motion? Motion is carried. Now we come to the board member requests, comments, and discussion. I did mention at the last meeting that we talked about anything with the handbook. We had talked about the student on the board. But I don't think anything has come out of the state yet, so we'll postpone that until such time as the state gives direction on that. Anyone else have anything? Anyone have any good news they want to report? Other than the Booster Club?
Just a reminder, we're all aware of the,
Are you on?
a reminder that we're all aware of the 50th anniversary for Fort County, May 15th. We'll meet before then, but we need to get our reservations in.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Anything else? Hearing none, then I think we're ready for adjournment. A motion please to adjourn. Linda and John? Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. Thank you and good night.